What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living Podcast. Now, today, what I want to talk about is, a life update, life goals, how my vision has changed, how my goals have been reiterated to myself, and just kind of like, where I've been kind of at. Because, last week I took a little bit of a hiatus. I usually give a little bit of a message or an announcement when I take a hiatus like that. And, since I've been operating this podcast the last 2-3 years, I've only taken, I think, 2 breaks, maybe 3 breaks. So that would have been the first time I've ever taken a break unannounced and just kind of went MIA. And, it's because I just had a life shock, I was really burnt out from working a lot, doing a lot of new tasks, new projects. I really want to, get the most momentum I can out of January because of just the statistics of how you can catapult yourself forward for the rest of your life, for the rest of the year. And, with where I've been at the last little bit, I really want to take as much advantage of as much time as I can this year. And, I knew I was coming down to burnout. I knew I was getting really tired and dragged down, and I could feel it, but I had that light at the end of the tunnel. And I was like, I can just do it, push a little longer. And then I got really sick, and just down in the bed, sleeping, and just felt really nauseous and, went through it. But the thing that really kind of put me over the edge of, before I even say like how or what I'm going to talk about in terms of like the passing of a family member is, when you're sick, you're down in the dumps. You're reflecting on everything. Sometimes, like, sicker you are, the more you feel almost incapable. You're having almost like these panic attacks, and I'm just like, you're like, oh my God, like what's the point of life's existence? And I think it's really funny to talk about that because or really highlight that, not really funny, I guess, but the main, I want to highlight that just for the idea of like how much reflection you do as to where you want to take your life, how you're feeling about certain things, where you're investing your time, your money, everything, right? Like you're like, like, what should I do? I feel like when I get, you're just grateful to be alive at that point, So you're looking at certain things in your life and, like you're realizing, okay, maybe I'm not as close to my goals as I wanted to be or and aligned with my goals as I want to be, or, certain habits you're doing, like, maybe not tracking your food as well or hitting the gym as hard as you can or whatever it may be. I was already in a deep reflective process at this point, and I was already like, how to, like, just reflecting, like I said, I really want to do really good this year. And, I woke up on Sunday feeling better, and my brother called me and he said that it's his cousins, it's our cousins, it's from his dad from blood. So, I don't know my father, neither does Lulu. And, he was my brother's dad was the only one around. So, his family kind of inherited us a little bit. And our cousin was shot, actually 6 times on Sunday morning at 3 a.m. And, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I was really close with him. Like, I'm 30 now. I haven't really been close to him the last 10, 15 years, like in terms of just like, it's not like I got his phone number. I call him and, he'll pick up. But when we see each other, it's always love. We grew up with each other, like, as just like elementary, junior high family, like I know his sisters, his brother, his mom, his family and stuff. And, he wasn't, no one deserves that, but he was definitely the least deserving out of some people, especially when people aren't. He wasn't in anything. He was a good guy, took care of his kids, and what I'm trying to say is, like, when I got that news, knowing that he's only 7 days older than me, and the context of like the situation, everything, like I started reflecting more. I started really looking at things as, like shit, like it's we're all going to have our box ticked at one day. And, not saying that we're going to have something traumatic happen severely, but we, like, at the end of the day, we don't know when our time is up. And the reason why I want to highlight that too is because that's why it's so important to just take your life so serious and like really, really want your goals and keep that vision sharp and be goal oriented and be ambitious and almost feel selfish about your goals, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people around us that aren't doing fuck all with anything. Like, they're really just not ambitious. They're really just not goal oriented. They're fine with just being pushed through the ringer and just to go A, B, C plus D. Like, there's going through it. They don't think left, right, up, down, nothing. There's those people. There's victim people that say they deserve the world because they've been wronged, or however they want to paint this sob story as to how they're feeling like they're deserving or owed something from the world. And then there's everyone else that you can think about that's just not moving forward. Anyone that's the opposite of abundance, opposite of like shooting forward, is just not someone you want to be around. And, when I really started to reflect this past week on just like, his passing and like what he meant to me, and like, like what my life means to me, and what I want to do with it, and what it would mean to me if if I was to go now, X, Y, and Z, all these different things. Thinking about his life, his kids, and like how I'm never going to run into him again. And I was just talking to him recently too about the gym, his goals this year. It just put like a filter, or I should say like a layer of just reflecting on where I'm at my goals. And I realized this past 2, 3, 4 years I've exceeded all of my goals. I've actually accomplished every single one of my goals. And I'm just incredibly grateful to have that reflective process and realize that, like, I once wanted to just be in the gym pain free minimum 4 times a week, and now I'm going 5, 6 times a week. Exceeded my expectation. I really wanted to get back on stage and do a bodybuilding show and prove I could do it in a healthy manner, and do it positively and rekindle the relationship with myself that I knew I could, that I once had, and I did it, and I exceeded my expectations there too. I wanted to build a business where I could financially free myself and have more time to myself, my family. And honestly, like, a big thing with that was just having freedom to deal with my pain management and my mental health, because there's nothing more degrading than calling to work and trying to get time off for something that's like, if you're not actually sick, like you're like not actually sick from like an illness in terms of physically throwing up or vomiting or nausea or anything like this. It's, I'm just depressed as fuck, dealing with some mental health. Like, I'm just going through it, or dealing with migraines from a fucking pain, like things like this. And it's like, I really wanted that, and I got it. I'm doing this podcast tonight, like just walking in my living room, and like looking at YouTube, looking at an ambience of, honestly, it's a condo. And this is what I mean about visions and goals. It's a condo that's an open water, has a pool in it, infinity pool, and it's like a penthouse condo, and it's in Dubai or like Chicago. I know it's a drastic difference, but I'm just looking at it quickly. I think it's Dubai. But regardless, I reflect on where I'm at with everything, and I've exceeded my expectations on a lot of fronts. And now it's time for me to start owning up to the potential that I'm worth, the potential that I'm capable of. And, I'm not to say I'm doing it in memory of Isaac, but, it put like a really reflective process on, I'm not 10 years old, I'm not 15, I'm not 20 years old, I'm 30 years old. I'm not saying that's old by any means, but, like I said, we're not all guaranteed tomorrow, and whatever goals we have, it's on us to make sure we accomplish them. But on top of us accomplishing them, it's just as important on us to make sure that we're reflecting on them and giving ourselves the gratification, giving ourselves the praise, giving ourselves the reward, and giving ourselves that recognition to be heard and felt and seen and validated that we are this next level version that we've been working for so long. That's the next fucking level. Once only that can you balance the two equally and be able to keep elevating forward. And that's just what it is. This has been an incredibly long week. I spent a lot of time just talking to my brother. I was there tonight looking at my niece and hanging out with her. And, really, really seeing that I have a lot of my goals already accomplished. And now it's just about keeping them strong, keeping my boundaries even stronger around them, and taking away anything and everything that doesn't have to do with anything with bringing them up. And I'm going to do it fucking selfishly. And I want everyone to feel it around me, because at the end of the day, I'm not taking away from anyone else by protecting and building what's mine. And that's what I want you guys to understand about the biggest aspect of this episode of, you build what's yours, because you don't know when it's going to be your time that's up. And don't feel guilty about anyone else around you. If someone actually does care for you, they're going to support you, uplift you, and help build you up and put you on that pedestal that you deserve to be. Because every one of us deserves to be on a pedestal, and we have a vision, we have goals, we have this idea of what we all deserve to be sitting on top of in terms of pedestals and where they're at in our life. And we just have to be relentless on getting them. And, I realize that I got to start going after it more. I got to get after it more. I got to be more proud of what I'm doing. Got to be more proud of what I've built. And I got to be more proud of myself along the journey. And I got to be a hell of a lot more ambitious, because we don't have much time on this earth, but we have a hell of a lot more opportunities in front of us that we can ever comprehend. And if we can just believe in ourselves to go after them relentlessly, man, can we ever exceed our expectations day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year, seriously. But other than that, that's all I got. A little bit of an update on my mental, where I'm at, my mindset, how I'm looking at everything. My goals in terms of like actual time dates, I still want to do 2 bodybuilding shows this year. I want to travel a lot more, kind of like live more abundantly in terms of like being less tied down, get rid of the lease that we're at and go more on the move in terms of Airbnbs and maybe go overseas for a bit. But just be more free within the life that I have because I built it, you know, and I think that's a lot of the things that I want you guys to all resonate with too is be free within the life that you guys have all built, you know, and unless you guys have given yourself the praise and the validation for, you know, hitting those next levels like you have, because where you are right now, you once used to fucking pray for, which is what I really learned this past week, is, you know, be grateful for it, you know, and then be fucking relentless and selfish with where you want to go. But other than that, I appreciate you guys all. Appreciate you guys all for tuning in, especially after just taking a midweek hiatus. But let's keep doing what we do best, which is lead from the motherfucking front and keep setting a standard. Let's fucking go.